what you can do. You stopped me at last. What the devil? But if abstract science is a luxury, and practice of medicine mere chicane, if law spells injustice, and mechanical invention is but a means of robbery, if the school, at variance with wisdom of the practical man, is sure to be overcome, and art without the revolutionary idea can only degenerate, what remains for me to do? A vast and most enthralling task, a work in which your actions will be in complete harmony with your conscience, an undertaking capable of rousing the noblest and most vigorous natures. What work? I will now tell you. Two courses are open to you. You can either tamper forever with your conscience and finish one day by saying, "Humanity can go to the devil, as long as I am enjoying every pleasure to the full, and so long as the people are foolish enough to let me do so." Or else you will join the ranks of the socialists, and work with for the complete transformation of society. Such is the necessary result of the analysis we have made. Such is the logical conclusion at which every intelligent being must arrive, provided he judge impartially the things he sees around him, and disregard the sophisms suggested to him by his middle-class education and the interested views of his friends. Having once reached this conclusion, the question which arises, what is to be done? The answer is easy. Quit the environment in which you are placed, and in which it is customary to speak of the workers as a lot of brutes. Go among the people, and the question will solve itself. You will find that everywhere in England, as in Germany, in Italy, as in the United States, wherever there are privileged classes and oppressed, a tremendous movement is on foot among the working classes, the aim of which is to destroy once and forever the slavery imposed by capitalists, and to lay the foundations of a new society based on the principles of justice and equality. It no longer suffices for the people to voice their misery in those songs whose melody breaks one's heart, and which the serfs of the 18th century sang. He works today fully conscious of what he has done, in spite of every obstacle to his enfranchisement. His thoughts are continually occupied in considering what to do so that life, instead of being a mere curse to three-fourths of the human race, may be to all. He attacks the most difficult problems of sociology, and strives to solve them with his sound common sense, his observation, and his sad experience. To come to a common understanding with his fellows in misfortune, he tries to form groups and to organize. He forms societies sustained with difficulty by slender contributions. He tries to make terms with his fellows beyond the frontier. And he does more than all the loud-mouthed philanthropists to hasten the advent of the day when wars between nations will become impossible. To know what his brothers are doing, to improve his acquaintance with them, to elaborate and propagate his ideas, he sustains, at the cost of what efforts? His working-class press. What a ceaseless struggle! What labor, constantly requiring to be recommended. Sometimes to fill the gaps made by desertion, the result of lassitude, of corruption, of persecutions. Sometimes to reorganize the ranks decimated by fusillades and grape shot. Sometimes to resume studies suddenly cut short by wholesale massacres. The papers are conducted by men who have had to snatch from society scrap knowledge by depriving themselves of food and sleep. The agitation is supported with the pennies of the workers saved from the strict necessities of life. And all this is done, shadowed by the continual apprehension of seeing their families plunged into destitution as soon as the master perceives that his worker, his slave, is a socialist. These are the things you will see if you go among the people. And in this ceaseless struggle, How often has the worker, sinking under the weight of difficulties, exclaimed in vain, "Where then are those young men who have been educated at our expense, whom we have clothed and fed while they studied, for whom the backs bowed under heavy loads, and with empty stomachs we have built these houses, these academies, these museums? For whom we, with pallid faces, have printed those fine books we cannot so much as read? Where are they? Those professors who claim to possess the science of humanity, and yet in whose eyes mankind is not worth a rare species of caterpillar? Where are those men who preach liberty, and who never rise to defend ours, daily trodden under foot? These writers, these poets, these painters, all this band of hypocrites, in short, who speak of the people, tears in the eyes, and who nevertheless never come among us to help us in our work. Some complacently enjoy their condition of cowardly indifference. The majority despise the rabble and are ever ready to pounce down on it if it dare to attack their privileges. From time to time, it is true, a young man appears on the scene who dreams of drums and barricades, and who is in search of sensational scenes and situations, but who deserts the cause of the people as soon as he perceives that the road to those barricades is long, that the laurels he counts on winning on the way are mixed with thorns. Generally, these men are ambitious adventurers, who after failing in their first attempts, seek to obtain the votes of the people, but who later on will be the first to denounce it, if it dare to try and put into practice the principles they themselves advocated, and who perhaps will even point the cannon at the proletariat, if it dare move before they, the leaders, have given the word of command. Add to this stupid insults, haughty contempt, and cowardly calumny on the part of a great number, and you have all the help that the middle class youth give the people in their powerful social evolution. And then you ask, what shall we do when there is everything to be done? When a whole army of young people, when plenty to employ the entire vigor of their youthful energy, the full force of their intelligence and their talents to help the people in the vast enterprise they have undertaken. What shall we do? Listen, you lovers of pure science. If you are imbued with the principle of socialism, if you have understood the real meaning of the revolution which is even now knocking at the door, do you not see that all science has to be recast in order to place it in harmony with the new principles? That is your business to accomplish in this field, a revolution far greater than that which was accomplished in every branch of science during the 18th century. Do you not understand that history, which today is an old woman's tale about great kings, great statesmen, and great parliaments, that history itself has to be written from the point of view of the people in the long evolution of mankind? That social economy, which today is merely the sanctification of capitalist robbery, has to be worked out afresh in its fundamental principles as well as its innumerable applications? That anthropology, sociology, ethics must be completely recast, and that the natural sciences themselves, regarded from another point of view, must undergo a profound modification, alike in regard to the conception of natural phenomena and with respect to the method of exposition. Very well then, set to work. Place your abilities at the command of the good cause. Especially help us with your clear logic to combat prejudice and to lay by your synthesis the foundation of a better organization. Yet more, teach us to apply in our daily arguments the fearlessness of true scientific investigation, and show us, as your predecessors did, how man dare sacrifice even life itself for the triumph of the truth. You, doctors who have learnt socialism by a bitter experience, never weary of telling us today, tomorrow, in and out of season, that humanity itself hurries onward to decay if man remain in the present condition of existence and work, that all your medicaments must be powerless against disease, while the majority of mankind vegetate in conditions absolutely contrary to those which science tells us are healthful. Convince the people that it is the cause of disease which must be uprooted, and show us all what is necessary to remove them. Come with your scalpel and dissect for us, with unerring hand, this society of ours, fast hastening to putrefaction. Tell us what a rational existence should and might be. Insist, as true surgeons, that a gangrenous limb must be amputated when it may poison the whole body. You who have worked at the application of science to industry, come and tell us frankly what has been the outcome of your discoveries. Convince those who dare not march boldly towards the future, new invention of the knowledge we have already acquired carries in its womb. What industry could do under better conditions? What man might easily produce, if he produced always with a view to enhance his own productions? You poets, painters, sculptors, musicians, if you understand your true mission and the very interest of art itself, come with us. Place your pen, your pencil, your chisel, your ideas at the service of the revolution. Figure forth to us, in your eloquent style or your impressive pictures, the heroic struggle of the people against their oppressors. Fire the hearts of our youth with that glorious revolutionary enthusiasm which inflamed the souls of our ancestors. Tell women what a noble career is that of a husband who devotes his life to the great cause of social emancipation. Show the people how hideous is their actual life. Place your hands on the causes of its ugliness. Tell us what a rational life would be if it did not encounter at every step the follies and ignominies of our present social order. Lastly, all of you who possess knowledge, talent, capacity, industry, if you have a spark of sympathy in your nature, come you and your companions, come and place your services at the disposal of those who most need them. And remember, if you do come, that you come not as masters, but as comrades in the struggle. That you come not to govern, but to gain strength for yourselves in a new life, which sweeps upward to the conquest of the future. That you come less to teach than to grasp the aspiration of the many, to divine them, to give them shape, and to work without rest and without haste, with all the fire of youth and all the judgment of age, to realize them in actual life. Then, and only, will you complete a noble, rational existence. Then you will see that your every effort on this path bears fruit in abundance. And this sublime harmony, once established between your actions and the dictates of your conscience, will give you powers you never dreamt lay dormant in yourselves. The never-ceasing struggle for truth, justice, and equality among the people, whose gratitude you will earn. What nobler career can the youth of all nations desire than this? It has taken me long to show you of the well-to-do classes that in view of the dilemma which life presents to you, you will be forced, if courageous and sincere, to come and work side by side with the socialists and champion their ranks, the cause of the social revolution. And yet how simple this truth is after all. But when one is speaking to those who have suffered from the effects of bourgeois surroundings, how many sophisms must be combated and how many prejudices overcome, how many interested objections put aside,